Good morning, everybody. My name is Harry Jacobs, and it is September 14th, 2022. Fall is upon us here in Yellowknife. The leaves are falling off the trees, and it's getting cooler and moister. And I have no doubts that snow will be on its way in the next few weeks. Typically, we won't have any snow that sticks for a bit, but by mid-October, we probably will see some snow and flurries, and it'll freeze up, and we'll start seeing that minus 25 weather, because there's nothing more fun than going outside when it is minus 25. Anyway, we are here to talk about what has come into today's collection. Kind of sparse over the last couple of weeks. Been on a moratorium trying to cut down on what's coming in, not only from publishers, because all of a sudden I've had a glut of games from publishers, and we've worked through 3 of the 6 of them, and I'm going to show you one today, because I already opened it and filmed it, but we're going to talk about it. And here is Resist. This is a solo-only game, plays in about 30 minutes. It is a 5-5-5 game. That means 5 minutes to set up, 5 minutes to learn, and 5 minutes to tear down. It is based on the Spanish Civil War, or slightly after. Franco has won, and now the Marquis are running around making things hard for the Spanish. And you go to different locations. You have to overcome the guards and the counter-guerrillas, and depending on what you're playing, you can play your beat your own score, or you can play one of the scenarios, or string them all together for a campaign. This game is by Salt and Pepper Games. David Thompson, Roger Tankersley, and Trevor Benjamin. This is a fun game. I did just tape it the other day, so it is open. And it's really just a bunch of cards. It's a very small game box. And so watch for that video. It's actually going to be starting to edit today, and should be out in 3 or 4 days when I have time to work on these things. Next up, Wormholes. Peter McPherson, AEG Games. I saw Rado play this. He really liked it, and I thought, I love space games. And you create wormholes, deliver passengers, and connect the galaxy. 45 minutes probably per player. No, it can't be. No, it's 45 minutes to play, 1 to 5 players, 10 plus, because it doesn't say 45 players. You will create wormholes, and you will move passengers around, and it's a pick-up and delivery game. Whoever owns the most points connecting planets and delivering passengers wins the game. I do like these types of games. I think they are fun, they're competitive, and we'll have to see how it plays. As I said, Rado recommended it. I thought, hey, Rado recommended it himself, and that's Richard, not the other couple. Next up, Vendetta. Vendetta from Charlie Cleveland, Bruno Faduti. It is a Vampire the Masquerade game, and basically it's for 3 to 5. You're going to say, Harry, you sort of broke your protocol, and you don't usually buy games that are sort of 3 to 5 players. I know, but I'm on this vampire kick. It is from Horrible Games, or the Horrible Guild, I should say, and basically what you're doing is you're fighting over some locations, and you're playing a set number of cards, and you're trying to vie for the various locations and control those locations. It's an asymmetrical card game, it says, of strategy, bluff, and deduction. Play as a scheming vampire from one of the available clans: the Bruja, Gangrel, Malkavian, Nosferatu, Toreador, Tamar, and Ventru. So you're going to play cards around the table at different locations. Basically, the one who has the most whatever wins. Again, it looked very interesting. It looked like the mechanics were really, really cool. So that's Vendetta, and then Wormholes, and then Resist. This one is the big one. I'm going to take myself out of the frame here. So a little teaser. Here's the mat. I don't think there's room to show you all the mat here. Or some of the mat anyway. There it is. There's a beautiful mat. I love the colors. Doesn't fit under the lights. It is a big game. We probably will play it with the board, but here is the game. This is Hand of Fates. This is a deck builder, believe it or not. It is huge. It's from Rule and Make. They were a company that came together to create this specific game, and they are gone. This is an out-of-print game. It is rare. The original Kickstarter for the deluxe version was about 150 US, and that's where I pretty much paid. It was about 150 US, so I paid a little bit more. Little Canadian is about the same in Canadian. For this came pre-sleeved from the person who I bought it from. Excellent condition. Everything is there, and this is a wonderful deck builder. I don't know whether there's room to put it under the lights, but we're certainly going to do an unboxing and take a look at what's inside the box and maybe talk about the game a little bit. But basically what's happening is you're going to go around and you're going to visit various locations, and you'll be looking for a specific location, and then you have to defeat that location to move on to the next location. And you will get equipment, and you'll move equipment in and out, and you will play your cards, and hopefully you will be able to eventually win the king, because you have to pass the jack, the queen, and the king. So you have like 3 levels, and you're going to go visit locations, interact with those locations, fight at those locations, and then hopefully win the set a number of points. Now, you can play this, I believe, cooperatively or competitively. I'm not totally 100% sure. There's not a lot of videos. This is a very niche game. It is limited in the number of copies that are out there in the universe. I do believe Board Game Bliss has a single copy sitting there, retail edition out there, so I think you can still pick it up in Canada at Board Game Bliss. But that is what else has come really into my collection over the last week or 2 weeks, really. And lastly, we're continuing on the theme with Flesh and Blood, and I'm checking out different things for it. This is a first edition, actually. So this is the Flesh and Blood Hero Story Studio, age 16 and up, and it is one of the expansions. Legends story. So this is a first. It was really inexpensive, so I picked up a case, and then here are a couple others from a couple other ones. So this is a collectible card game. Arcana Rising and Marnock. These are booster packs. It is a fairly expensive game. Not more than Magic, but apparently it's gaining some traction. There are places in Europe that Magic isn't as popular. Like, they do play Magic, of course. You know, you're never going to be a Magic killer, but you know, I have learned that Vampire: The Eternal Struggle and Flesh and Blood are 2 rival games that have come onto the market. Of course, Vampire: The Eternal Struggle has been around since 1994 under the name of Jihad. Then in Jihad: The Eternal Struggle, and then eventually got redone as Vampire: The Eternal Struggle, part of the Eternal the Masquerade, though it's not licensed under that specific, but it's very familiar. But that is what's come into my collection. So, not much else to talk about. I don't know what I'm doing next. I'm going to have to pick up, I got 3 or 4 more things from some other publishers that need to be addressed, so we'll be working on them. The First Rat, and I think I have a couple more coming in from publishers, and so that is really picking up on my side of the table, I guess, is that I'm seeing more and more publishers trust me, and it's taken almost 2 years to get to that point where I'm starting to see a little bit more from the publisher side. So I'm starting to be trusted, and good to see that. On a good note, thanks to Jan, and we were talking about Castle Von Logan and the troubles with the Canadian delivery, and of course I kind of sent out a vlog last week, and for that I don't apologize for it, because it is what it is, because they did lose track of where the games were, but they finally showed back up. They finally showed up back at the warehouse, and it's like, he finally put an announcement in, we finally found the Canadian games. Apparently, when it went to customs, the shipper forgot to put a value of the total shipment. Canada customers sat on it. It forgot to put a value on the shipment, and Canada Customs sat on it. That's right, they sat on it. They didn't call anybody, they didn't tell anybody, they didn't inform anybody they had a product they couldn't deal with. It sat there for a month, and Canada Customs sent it back to the warehouse saying there was no value. We couldn't process it. Thank you very much. So it is on its way again. They've had to reship it back to Canada, so of course that'll be a week or so to get to customs, and 2 weeks through customs, and then another week to get to the fulfillment center, and then the fulfillment center, of course, will distribute it. So I would say we're looking at probably 6-8 weeks to see this game that was shipped in July. But it's on its way. I have been assured by the one of the designers that it is on the way. It's very frustrating for them too, because they couldn't figure out where anything was, because nobody was saying anything to them. So lessons learned. We had a laugh about it, because at the end of the day, it's you got to have humor about this, and we were talking about it, about project management and games and things, and we had at least a little conversation, and it's just tough. They do have another game out. It is a Jagged the Jagged Alliance game. It's Underground Games, and if you've backed that, I'm sure you'll be waiting for that. I didn't back that at this point. I should have, perhaps, because I do like Jagged Alliance. I did play the original on my Commodore 64 or my Amiga or whatever it was back in the day. It was a fun little game. One of the first sort of sniper crawlers that were out there. Anyway, that is all I have to say for myself this morning. If you like what you see, please hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell. We will be putting out the Resist video sometime in the next 4 to 5 days, certainly by the end of the weekend. We'll be starting on a new project. I don't know what that new project is. One of the things I do want to continue with is teaching you how to play Vampire: The Eternal Struggle. I have the Blood decks, which are the 55 card beginner decks, and their cards are the same, but they've just scaled it down and removed some of the elements that just complicate it a little bit. And we're going to go over that, some of the rules and how to play. Anyway, that is it for me. I will talk to you later. Again, my name is Harry Jacobs. Subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks very much.